Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. As well, for those of us in the United States, anyway. For those in Canada, y'all had yours last year if you're watching from Canada. I mean, last month, sorry. Back in October, not last year. It's been a long weekend. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit, start a new series of talks, and this is not based on anything that I've written. This is based off of new material. I believe it's new material created by the Autistic Self Advocacy Network. Sorry, I had to take a sip of coffee in my wonderful time cup. Yeah, I know. Anyway, this is back to talk about. This is material created by the Autistic Self Advocacy Network and the Ford Foundation, and this is the from the plain language edition of it. It's fighting for fairness. It starts with you, and fairness is about being fair, not just to yourself as an advocate, but to other people who are advocates and to other people who have other, not just self disability or other identities too that go along with them. Because we're all, you know, more than just one part of ourselves. So anyway, I'm gonna start talking, and I won't go too long into this because I want to put this over several days. And trust me, this isn't my own material, and so I'm not trying to copyright anything. I'm just gonna elaborate on things and stuff that is said. So anyway, let's start. Um, Biggest part of advocacy is working with lots of people. You know, like I said, advocacy isn't just about one group of people. You don't work with just people that have, some groups are specific to disabilities, certain disabilities. But however, advocacy is more than just one certain disability. I'm an all means all type of person, and that means that I advocate. If I advocate for myself, I advocate for others. I stand up, I learn, about disability. I learn about different things, aspects of people, So, that means that you work with different people who are different from you. You may not, I'm going to say this, you may not understand everything about them, but that's all right, you know. So, at first, that's all right. However, you should not stay at that point. So, another thing we need to realize is people with disabilities have to advocate to get treated equally. So do people of color, women, people who are LGBTQIA, or you know other parts of that community. They have to be tweeted. Yeah, sorry. Um, they have to advocate to be treated equally, and so you know everyone deserves to be treated equally. We work together, or we should, to be treated that way. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we may be unfair to others without even knowing, or sometimes with knowing. So, you know, let's talk about how to be fair. Fairness starts with, names and pronouns. Um, when someone tells you your name, call them by that name. You know, even if you don't know how to say their name, ask them. That's how ask them how to pronounce it. You know, it may be a different spelling, and maybe something that you've never heard of. You know, just ask them how to pronounce it if you don't know how to say it. Um, once you know how to say their name correctly, say it correctly. And if you make a mistake, say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try again." You know, sometimes people will change their names, and if people do, call them by their new name. Don't call them by their old name. in some instances, they call that their old name. It's a dead name. Don't offend them by calling them by that name. Um, Using pronouns. A pronoun is words like he or she. You know, they're words that are talk about people without use of their names. Like my friend, my friend Greg. They use the pronoun they them. So when I talk about Greg, I talk about Greg lost their wallet, or they or Greg, you know, that's one way to talk about, but I'll talk more in just a second. You know, women usually use the names, pronouns, she, her, hers, but not always. You know, so, you know, men usually use the pronouns he, him, his, but not always. You know, like I said, my friend Greg uses they, them, and theirs. You know, so, you know, just remember that. Um, Sometimes you meet people that use pronouns you've never heard of before. You should still use those pronouns when you talk about them. You know, use them in place of, or you might use he, she, they. You know, an example here might be George lost Jorge, Jorge lost her wallet. Can you call her or and make sure Z gets it back? You know, that's unusual pronoun, but when they use it. You know, so other pronouns you may not uh, know how to use. Sometimes you can ask them for help. Ask, can you give me an example of how to use your pronouns in a sentence? You know, respect the names and pronouns of everyone you meet. That's important to respect. If we're going to advocate, we need to respect one another. You know, sometimes you meet new people. So when you meet someone new, you want to know more about them. There might be parts of them that you don't understand. You know, you can ask questions. You know, first, when you ask the questions, think about what questions you may have, and can you find out more about the answers by yourself, or do you need to ask them? You know, sometimes you can find out more about the answers you need by looking online. Book or internet might help you. Um, if you can't find those answers online, you know, try talking with the person. You know, ask the person if you can ask them questions about them and their life. If it's okay, you know, you can. If the other person says no, it's respect that. Sometimes they may answer some questions, and sometimes they may not answer some questions. Depends on how personal it is. You know, remember sometimes it's hard for people to talk about themselves. You know, it may remind them of hurts. It may remind them of other things that are just too private that they don't want to answer, and that's all right. You know, you might ask a question that hurts someone's feelings, and you should apologize and say you're sorry. And it doesn't mean if you meant to hurt them or not. Still apologize. That's the best thing to do, and move on. And don't ask any further questions about that. Sometimes you may still be confused. after asking a question. You may not understand, why someone is different from you. And you should still keep working on it. It's still important to be fair, and you don't need to understand everything to be fair. You just need to be fair. You still need to be fair. That's all for today. Um, I'm going to try to add more tomorrow and maybe some on Wednesday too. Remember, this isn't my writing. If you want to know more and read for yourself, go on to Autistic Self Advocacy Network and look for this toolkit. I'm just working on my way through this to talk about it. You know, and like I said, I hope I'm okay in doing this. And if not, I will stop. Y'all have a great day. Take care. And remember, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It always is, but especially this time of year. Holidays are important. While I'm at it, happy Hanukkah to my friends who celebrate Hanukkah. Y'all have a great day. Take care. Be good for one another. And it's time for my lunch.